Hey guys, so I'm back with my computer, and in our previous videos we learned about SQL and a lot of basic concepts of Python. Now today we will learn about an interesting module which is maths module in Python. Okay, so simply open your browser and head over to docs.python.org and math.html. You can have a look at this URL, or you can simply search for Python math module and go on to the first link here. So you will head over to this. Now here you can find all those functions and methods you can use in your math module. So this is basically the official Python documentation for our math module. So first of all, let us open Visual Studio Code. Here we have this code from my previous video. If you haven't watched it yet, then you can find the link in the description below. And if you haven't watched my previous video, then you can also find the link of that video in the I button now, and you can find the link of Python programming playlist in the description as well. So with that said, let us delete all this code. And now here, first of all, what we need to do, we need to import our module, right? So I will import math. Okay, so we have imported our math module. Now this math module has a lot of functions, a lot of methods. So first of all, I will access, let's say we have hypotenuse, we have exp, we have a lot of methods there, ceil, com, copy sign, cos, a lot of methods. So first of all, I would like to introduce you to square root method. So this method basically will return the square root of the number which you have passed here. So let us pass 25, and we can store it in a variable, or we can print it directly. So I would like to print it directly. So now let me run the code, and here as you can see we got 5.0 because the square root of 25 is 5, and that's why we get 5 here. So now let us pass 64, and we should get 8 here. So as you can see we get 8 here. Now let us pass 81, we should get 9 here. Let us run it, and here you can see 9. And now to remove this extra 0 here, what we can do is we can convert the output into an integer. Okay, so this is something which we can do, but there is no need to do that because 9.0 is equal to 9 directly. Okay, and now with running this you can simply see the 9, which is the output of which is the outcome of the square root of 81. So that's a function square root, sqrt, which will give you the square root of the number which you have passed. Now let us use another method. So let me just add a comment here, square root of given number. So square root of given number. So this method will give you the square root of given number. So it is math.sqrt. So this is the method. Let's say 25 here, not 15, 25. So this method will give you the outcome of 5. So with that we can get the square root. Now another method which I would like to show you is power, okay, or POW, power. So this method will give you the power of x to, you can say, x raised to y. So what is x? X is the base, and y is the you can say the value which is like x square. So 2 is y here, and x is the base value, so that's why x is here. So as you can see, first of all, let me add let me use 5 here and 2. So now what will happen is our math.pov method will take this 5 as base and this 2 as square. Okay, and then we will get 25 because the square of 5 is 25. And let us print it now. So by printing this, you can see 25 here on the terminal because the square of 5 is 25. Now let us check for the cube. So the cube of 5 is 125, as you can see here. So we can get the square, cube. You can go up to 30 as well. You can go up to any level. You can go up to infinite levels. Okay, so as you can see, we have this output here. So you can get the value like that with using POW, which will give you the power of the number. So the first argument which you pass will be the base, and the second argument which you will pass will be the power. Okay, so let me add a comment here. Gives power of gives you can say power of first number as base and second as power. So this will give you the result. You can say gives result of first number as base and second number as power. Okay, so this is the math.pov method. Now we have another method. Okay, now I would like to show you another method, which is hypotenuse. So now there are many times where we need to calculate these things, and that's where our math module comes in action. So now to calculate hypotenuse, let us pass let's say 3 and 4. So we have a triangle. Imagine that we have a triangle and one side is 3 and second side is 4. Okay, so now how do we calculate the hypotenuse? To calculate the hypotenuse, what we do is, so let me tell you again. So to find the hypotenuse, you basically take the square of both the sides, and then the addition of the squares of both sides will be the square of the hypotenuse, actual hypotenuse, and then you need to use the square root of that hypotenuse. Okay, so I think everyone knows how to find hypotenuse. So let me just print this. Now by printing this, as you can see, we should get 5 because the square of 3 is 9, the square of 4 is 16, and the total is 25, and the square root of that is 5, and that's why we get 5, because hypotenuse is the calculation of the squares of both sides, the square root of the squares of both sides. You can say the square root of the squares of both sides. Okay, so that will be the perfect expression for that. Okay, so this is the method with which you can calculate the hypotenuse. So gives or calculate the hypotenuse. Okay, I will use this short form here, hypotenuse. So with this method you can calculate the hypotenuse. The first value and second value are the sides which you get. Okay, so these are the sides of triangle. Now let me clear this now, because this is such a mess. I don't like that. So now let us use another method, which is ceil. Okay, so this ceil method will give you the smallest greater integer. Okay, so the smallest integer which is greater than the given value. So if you provide 5.9, then you should see 6, because 6 is the nearest greatest integer. Okay, so sorry, nearest smallest integer. Okay, so it is not smaller than x actually, but it is the smallest greater than integer. So it is smallest but it is greater than, so it is not 8 or it is not 9, it is smallest but greater than, so that's why it is 6. So let me provide 5.9 here. Now the smallest greater integer, so what will be the smallest, or what will be the greater value, which is the, you can say, the closest integer. What is the closest integer to 5.9? Okay, so let me print that. So what is the closest integer to 5.9? So the closest integer to this 5.9 is, the closest integer to 5.9 is 6. So that's why we should see 6 here. So as you can see, we have 6. So what is the closest integer for 0.9? Closest greater than integer. So the closest greater than integer is 1, but on the documentation, if you will head over to the documentation, here you can find that the ceil method returns the smallest integer which is greater than equal to x. So this is a bit confusing. I think it should be the closest greater than integer. Okay, I think it should be the closest greater than integer which is or equal to x. So that should be like that, I think. Okay, so here let me just add a comment. Gives the closest greater than integer, integer than x, or sometimes it will give you x directly. Okay, so let me pass 0 here. So now if I'll pass 0, it will return me the same. Here you can see 0. If I will pass 1, here you can see we get 1 here as well. Okay, so then 0 or equal to 0 or equal to x, not 0, the value which we have provided. Okay, so the gives the closest greater than integer than gives the closest greater integer than x or equal to x. Okay, so it will give those two values here. Now we have another method. Just like ceil, we have a method which is floor. So this method will give you the largest integer. It is just the opposite of this ceil. It will give you the largest closest integer, you can say. So if I will pass 0. Let's say 5 here. Okay, then let me print this. So if I'll print this, here you can see we get 0. If I will pass 5.9 here, okay, just like our previous example, we will get 5 here, because now we are using the floor method. So it will give you the smallest closest integer. Okay, so let me copy this and let me just paste it. So it gives the closest smaller integer than x or equal to x. Okay, so this is the complete opposite of this ceil method. It will give you the smaller closest integer. Okay, then we have you can see combination here, which is comb. So let me clear this as well. So the another method which we have is math.comb. So this method takes two arguments, which is n and k. So the first argument will be the limit or the set, you can say. So if I'll pass 10 and if I'll pass 2, so the k is the second value, and this what this function will do is it will first of all gives us the output. It will give us the output that how many times we can find this 2 in this 10. So we can find this 2 in this 10, what are the combinations and all. So it will give us the result. So let me print it. So now our comb function will give us number of ways in which we can choose this 2 in this 10. So let me save it and let me run it. So here you can see 45. So there are 45 times in which we can find this 2, or we can there are 45 ways in which we can find 2 in this 10 with different combinations. If I'll add 5 here, we can find 2 in 5 in 10 ways. Okay, so we can find this 2 in this 5 for 10 ways in 10 ways. If I'll add 1 here, you can see we can find 1 in 5 in 5 ways. So just like that, we have this combination method. Now there is another method which is very important. So here you can find all those methods. Basically you can check for those methods. We have a factorial method which I'm going to show you. So math.factorial. So this method simply gives you the factorial of that specific number. So if I'll pass 5, so it will give you the factorial of 5. So okay, so let me print it. It won't give you anything if you haven't printed. So let me print it, and now as you can see we get 120. So what is factorial? Factorial is like this. If you have 5, the factorial of 5 will be 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, so now calculate. 5 into 4 is 20, 20 into 3 is 60, 60 into 2 is 120, 120 into 1 is 120. So that's why we can get 120 here. So factorial is the multiplication of all numbers ranging from 1 to that specific number which you have provided here. So that is factorial, and that's what you will get. So if I will add let's say 2 here, so what you will get? You will get 2 only, because 1 into 2 is 2. If you will pass 3 here, then you will get 6 here, as you can see. So just like that you can get the factorial. Then there are a lot of methods which you can explore. And one more thing which I would like to show you is, let me print the math.py, which will return the value of pi. Okay, so this is interesting. It will return the value of pi, so you can use that value in some mathematical expressions where you want to use the value of pi. You can use this math.py. So multiple times when we need to use complex multiplications or complex mathematical expressions in our programs, when we have to implement those expressions, we can take help of this math module, because this math module will help us a lot in those scenarios. So that's why I taught you this math module. I introduced you to this math module. So this was it for our today's video, guys, and thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.